Hey all, this is my Module 5, Understanding My Community, specifically Spring Hill, Kansas, the Spring Hill School District USD 230. So I want to look at it at a sociological inventory. The town was founded in 1857. It's a small rural community at first. We'll get into that. But the community is growing rapidly. If you hear Spring Hill, you know that it is growing. We have new developments everywhere. If you drive through Spring Hill, you will see new housing districts building just literally everywhere. District is growing rapidly. We do have a population of around 6,600 plus, but we are predominantly white. We are 96.3 white, which is extremely not diverse, which add to some of the issues that we have is because of this lack of diversity. The median age is around 30. We are a very young community. There is a lot of young kids there. Which is one of the reasons our school district is growing so quickly. They are 77% homeowners, which means that most people own in Spring Hill. They do not rent, which is it's quite a bit higher than even the Kansas average or the national average. So customs and traditions, like I said, you can't talk about customs and traditions without mentioning again that we are growing rapidly because our customs and traditions are changing. With the new schools, we have new customs and traditions. With the new people moving into Spring Hill, we have new customs and traditions. We do have that small town feel and values, which are definitely valued, but it is becoming less and less as we grow more and more. We do a Settlers Parade, kind of partnering with Olathe, where our bands in our middle school and high school are very heavily involved. So that is something that we do every year. We do have field trips every year for the middle school level, obviously elementaries, but specifically my middle school, 6th grade, every year I get paid to go skiing at Snow Creek, which is super awesome. They've been doing this for over 30 years. These field trips, 7th grade does Jump City, and then 8th grade goes to Worlds of Fun. Then our choir goes to Worlds of Fun for some competition. We do a lot of different trips for our different groups that are definitely a tradition that parents of our students will talk about. When they were in 6th grade, they did things like this. We started a new tradition, which is Parent University. This is specifically for 6th grade parents, to get them to understand, hey, what middle school is like, especially if it is their first child in the middle school, how different it is from the elementary. Our district has been promoting the healthy lifestyles through our insurance, like I'm sure many of your districts have, where we do different competitions, which have kind of become a really fun tradition that our school does. We have an 8th grade promotion ceremony. Thankfully, this custom and tradition, and we are ending it this year. It has grown and grown and grown to where it is even more formal, it seems, in the high school graduation, and the site council and parents have realized this and how much of almost a hassle it is. And so we are going to be cutting back majorly as we are splitting into 2 middle schools. We're going to start new traditions by obviously taking out that 8th grade promotion. Recreational sports leagues we do have in our community that a lot of people are involved, including a lot of my students. We do have a community pool. You ever drive by that pool in the summer, it is packed with students, which is why I never swim at our community pool. I don't need to go swimming with tons of my students. We do have an old downtown area. You can see in that top picture. There is that exact same building that is pictured in the bottom picture, which is a modern day picture. It is becoming more and more hip and trendy as more stores are brought in, including a store I mentioned a few times, which is The Bean. Our population characteristics, you can kind of read a lot of this for yourself. It's a little bit older of a model because it only says we have about 5,863, but we're growing so quickly that you can't find some that are completely accurate because of the amount of people that are growing in each and every month. We are predominantly speaking English, which 99%. Families under 18, we have about 60% of our families have children, which is a major number. I've had a picture of that Bean opening. That is where a lot of people hang out there. Educational attainment, you can see that only 5% of people have no diploma. We have about 95% graduation rate, which is extremely high. Specifically, my middle school, we have about 592 students, which is, that number just grows by 50 or 60 each and every year. Percentage white, we are, like I said, very high percentage white, which is 85, and then our second population is Hispanic, which is about 7 to 8%. We do have a free discounted lunch percentage of around 25%, which is lower than a lot of districts around us, okay, but seems to be about average. So communication channels, how does the school district communicate to the community as well as just people inside of the district. I'll use Skyward email. They send out a lot of mass emails through our system of Skyward. We have the district website that you can explore. They put a lot of articles of what's happening on in the district. Administrator videos. Our middle school principals, they put out video each and every week. Hey, what did we do this week? What was awesome? Some stories to tell. And then what's happening next week? Sporting events or activities that parents should know about. We do also have Maverick Minutes. I suggest you go on YouTube and look up Maverick Minutes Spring Hill. It is a student-made news station that we play every other Friday. It takes them 2 weeks, and they make a newscast, and it is amazing what these kids can do. And we send that out and post it on YouTube, and the district reposts it, and people just absolutely love finding out what we're doing in the middle school. Student-made, I suggest you look it up. Social media, like most districts, we have Twitter and Facebook that we use heavily. Spring Hill community themselves, they use the social media to find out about the district and find out about things in the community. Local news station that people use, obviously, like most places, as well as, hey, it's 21st century. Most people find out their communication through their internet. There's a lot of places in Spring Hill that offer free internet for people that don't pay for it. They can still access and find out what we're doing in the district. Community groups that we know about that are large. We have the Bean. It's always crowded. It's that new coffee shop. A lot of, especially high school students, hang out there. So that's definitely kind of a growing group. Then we have this group called Chica Chatter. It's through Facebook. It's it started as a good thing. It's Women of Spring Hill. You have to be a woman that lives in Spring Hill to join it. They use it to be able to like sell and find out, hey, let's get together and do book clubs. But it has turned into a very negative thing, especially for the district, where a lot of them get on it just to complain and kind of trash and bash the district. And so the district actually does keep an eye on this Chica Chatter to find out a little bit about the community and what these women are saying about our schools and what they think we're failing at, because that's about really the only thing they post, it seems, at times, which is sad, but it is a negative aspect of our community groups. We do have recreation leagues. I mentioned a lot of my students participate in it. I go to a lot of their games and watch. Spring Hill Historical Society, the middle school partners with them to do this talking tombstones, where we find important people that lived in Spring Hill. You stand by their tombstone, the student dresses up as that person, and then people can actually take a tour of the cemetery and get to know important people in Spring Hill's past. The PTO group, they are an amazing group. They are really good at their job. Grace Community Church is a large church in Spring Hill. They bring in food for teachers during our professional development. They also donate a lot of school supplies for some of our more needy students. Local restaurants, if you've ever been to Spring Hill, you've probably eaten at K&M Barbecue. They are a very well-known barbecue restaurant in the Kansas City area. If you live in the Kansas City area and you have not tried it, I suggest drive to Spring Hill, eat K&M Barbecue. It's really good. So I felt like I had to add this to it because a lot of people come to Spring Hill just because of this restaurant. Leadership. Spring Hill Mayor Stephen M. Ellis, he's on that top left. Their city council president is Chris Leeton. They're both doing a pretty good job. Most people enjoy what they are doing. Our superintendent is Dr. Wayne Burke, top right. Our principal is Rod Sprague. He's also on the right middle. When we have assistant principals, Trevor Gertzen, he's in the middle left, and then our athletic directors and assistant principals are Aaron Todd and Darcy Sly. We do have 4, but that is because Trevor Gertzen will become the middle school principal, as well as Mr. Sprague will also still be a middle school principal, with the 2 assistant principals splitting with them and becoming the athletic directors for them, which is why we actually have 4, even though we're just 1 middle school as of now. So community leaders' characteristics. From what I have talked and researched, Stephen Ellis was elected in 2018. Overall, he is very well liked. He won pretty handily. He is doing a great job from what I can tell from the people. Superintendent Dr. Wayne Burke, appointed in 2015. Overall, people like him, including the teachers and the community. He is trying to change some of the philosophy of Spring Hill education, in my opinion, for a good thing, getting away from just specifically small rural decisions, understanding that we are a larger district and he has to treat it as such. Principal Rod Sprague, he's very curriculum focused, but the parents seem to like him. Teachers seem to like him just fine. He's a great leader through our growing process and does a good job leading us through all the different changes that are happening. Economic conditions. It's kind of expensive to live in Spring Hill, Kansas. The median house value is $160,000. My wife and I tried to move in. We couldn't even find a decent house for what we could afford, which is why we actually live on the Missouri side. Median household income is $70,000. I actually think a more modern figure is a little bit higher than that. And you can see that most people are salary employees with 83%, but you can read the rest of those for yourself. Political structure. School funding in Kansas is very fluid. If you know anything about the education department in the state of Kansas, it is struggling at times. Times when our teacher contracts were held because we didn't know exactly, they didn't know exactly how much they could pay us. So there's unknown amounts of money at times. The district does do a good job spending what they give us really well. The school board is great. Specifically, we have bond issues. Community has actually passed 2 of them in the past 4 years. They are very supportive, which is why we were able to grow so quickly and build all these new schools, is because our community is so amazing at passing these bond issues. So some social tensions, they're very low. Spring Hill community is a very supportive community. We don't have very many tensions between the school and the community or between the community members themselves. We do have chica chatter, which I mentioned before, which can definitely be negative, and there's some social tensions because of this and how much teachers hate and despise chica chatter, and how much it seems like some of these women in chica chatter do not like the district. We do have lower income at Spring Hill Elementary and Spring Hill Middle School, especially once the middle school splits, where the people from the north side, more the Latham side, will have a higher income, and people that go into in-town schools will have a lower income. So there's a little bit of tension of, I don't want my student to have to go to low-income schools. People are trying to transfer back and forth. It's not a lot of tension, but it is there, so worth mentioning. The splitting of the middle school has gone actually really well, but I wanted to mention it, of who's going to which school, including staff and students. Like I said, the higher income versus that lower income. Extra source of information, if you wanted to find out about the school, we have the site council. It meets quarterly. It's open to the public. PTO meetings that meet monthly. Board meetings meet monthly, open to the public. I actually went to it last night to learn about what we're doing. Social media, like most districts, we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as well as those administrator videos I mentioned as well that our middle school principals make. Power structures. Just like the other districts, we have a chain of command, school board, superintendent, and there's a lot of people in between then down to the building principals. Multicultural issues. We don't really have any that are major, so no known ones. Like I said, we're predominantly white community in school. Personal experience, I have to teach religion and ancient civilization for my 6th grade class. I actually got an email from a parent claiming that I'm not allowed to teach the pillars of Islam, which is just the basics of Islam, which I actually have to because it's in our state standards. So some parent feedback of some of the views that they have are a little skewed. Like I said, predominantly white community. Power structure, like I said, superintendent, assistant superintendent, building principal. Middle school, specifically we have principal, associate principal, assistant principal, teachers, paraeducators, support staff. It's communicated to the community. They know who to come to if they have any issues, just like most school districts. Public opinion, I'll breeze over this one as well because the second slide is very similar. Survey we send out each year. We have one for parents, teachers, students, community members. It's reviewed by the district, then reviewed by the school board itself. The public opinion surveys, it's the same service I was just mentioning, but in more detail, we have one specific to the community. How can they support us? How can we support them? Parents, are we supporting your child like we need to? Staff, is the district supporting you and administrator supporting you as a teacher and a staff member? Students, are the staff members supporting you? It gives an overview of that public opinion. The data is reviewed by administrator and school board, but we're only presenting some of this information at our back to school meetings in August. We do have an open door policy. Meetings can easily be set up with administrators and or teachers. I have a lot of meetings with parents and teachers. Hey, this is their concern about their child, or hey, I just want to meet with you and to see how my child's doing. So our district has an open door policy. I found this assignment to be super helpful. I found that it shows a lot about my students, and as a future administrator, I'll definitely be doing something like this to find out about that community that I'm about to be starting in. It helps you understand your students, your community, your parents in a much better way.